I appreciated the show because a lot of the social situations like felt so hard. Like I like they like you're witnessing them and you're like, what what would I do in that situation?
Hi, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat.
And we're the Ghouls Next Door.
Ghouls Next Door.
Talking about spooky stuff.
Zombie teens next door. Except we're 32. So that's
we can be zombie teens at heart. Yeah, we're the media literacy show from a horror lens where we explore the real life, historical, psychological, cultural influences behind our cinematic fears, and continuing our Dead Doesn't Die series. When the Dead Don't Die, our zombie series is All of Us Are Dead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell you. Too bad. So sad.
Yeah. We've all been dead this whole time. It really is like, it's a show that I've seen 3 times at this point. So I will say that I think I do like it.
Yeah.
The first 2 times, though, I stopped at episode 10. So that was where I was like, I can't deal with hard. We must just live a happier life where everyone doesn't die.
All of us are not dead.
Yeah, all of us actually are dead, and the title is a lie. Actually.
All of us are alive.
Yeah. We're not horrible to each other and like really mean to each other, and that's worse than zombies.
Right.
That's not real. It's fine. Everyone's happy, and everyone finds their dad, and everyone runs off into the sunset, and it's a lovely time.
Right.
When you stop at episode, I think it was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
But this is my first time rewatching it and then watching the whole thing. So, I think I still like it. Even with like the ending and like the characters, I'm like, you didn't have to die, but you did, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I similarly have never finished the Demon Slayer comic. Because it was like at the end, it's like the final battle, and everyone's like really messed up. People have already died. And then they're like, oh, we don't have any more strength. And then my favorite character showed up to like help. And so I was like, all done.
I saw that. We don't even see it.
I was like, oh, he came and he saved everyone and everyone's fine and he's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So I absolutely get it.
How would you handle the zombie apocalypse? Denial.
I
fear. wouldn't. I wouldn't actually.
I would
probably
be dead.
go out the first day. Yeah. Or I would go insane. And be like, the zombies are my friends. I'm gonna get bugs. And that'd not be a good time for anybody. So
yeah. I was, so often in horror films and TV shows, a lot of it is about traveling to get to the people. Like, and when you think about it from a broader spectrum of like in disaster scenarios, like you have those plans, like you should have, just a where you go, where you meet up. Right. But not everyone has those plans. Right.
Yeah.
I know growing up, like, we'd read like the Zombie Survival Guide, and, my friends and I would definitely have like, here's what I would do. Here's where we would go. Here's what we would do. Those kinds of things. But it was always like, I mean, it's from the lens of a high schooler who doesn't really think zombies would ever happen. But I think like in regular crisis situations, like you should have, like we have like vague kind of like where we would go. But this show, and also like thinking even like rewatching like 28 Days Later and some of those other zombie things, was like there should also be like a timeline of like if you're not here by X time, and like that's a great thing in a film. Like having a timeline in a film is really good at amping up the tension and like the fear, because they're racing against the clock, and then it's like they're always there just a little after. But I was like, when I was watching this, I just said to like my husband, I was just like, listen, the zombie apocalypse breaks out and you are somewhere else away from me, or I'm far away, whatever it is, we're not together. I was like, just don't come looking for me. I am gone. I'm not making it. You know, like you just like please just cut your losses.
Gabe, and then you're waiting for him.
No, I won't. I won't wait. I won't. I'm like,
you're gonna,
I've given permission.
Oh, it's like literally the Walking Dead scenario where you like your husband's in the hospital and then like you are now in zombie world and you're like, well, he's gone. I'm not gonna go look for him. And then he shows up at your camp and then you're like, I've already started dating his best friend because I thought he was dead.
Listen,
yeah, don't do that.
You're allowed. No, you're allowed to. I mean, there's got to be a time limit. I think she moved on pretty fast.
Yeah. Like, so what's your time limit is also the question of like how much time has passed before you give up entirely.
Right. But I just like I can't run, and I don't really have like a desire to live in this type of world. Like it just like that just feels really heavy on me. I will say I probably, when it comes to like having the mental structure to be able to like persevere and to like compartmentalize like what the danger is and the horrors that are around me, like I probably would be good at that. I would probably be able to like, okay, we'll deal with that later. We got to come up with a plan. We got to do some things, right? Like, but I just think like I physically wouldn't be able to do it. And as soon as like people I really, really like my people started dying, I just don't think I would really want to do it again. You know, like I just like for what? You know, I think like we had a good run as people.
I feel like for a month we'd be like, all right, cool, we got this, and then something horrible extra would happen, and we'd be like, maybe we don't go this.
Right, maybe we just don't like go. Like I asked Mike, I was like, you want to like, what if we just, you know, suicide pact? You know, like we become
like the parents and 28 days later,
right? Like we just become the storytelling skeletons, right? Like we are sat at the table and somebody finds us and they're like, oh, they loved each other, you know, like. We could do that, but then Mike is like, he will never do that because of the mist.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, I can never kill you.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was like the next minute. It was literally like, he killed them, and then the police showed up like, hey, we're here to help you. And he's like, what if that happens? I'd be like, well, then you just kill yourself anyway. Stop. Just don't do it.
It's fair. I just like the timeline thing is real because I feel like in trauma and like that really hard like scenario you have, if time stretches, like you kind of activates that period of your brain where like everything, like when you're a kid, everything feels like it lasts forever because it's so like, whoa, what is happening? So like it'll feel much longer than probably it actually was. And once you don't have like the internet to be like, it's 8:30.
Right.
How are you gonna know how much time has passed? I guess other than like the sun and going up and down, but like, are you gonna be keeping track of that as people are getting eaten around you? It's I feel like it would end up blurring together. So I guess it's hard to come up with a timeline as well within that. But
we could have like a rough timeline, but at some point it'd be like, I think we've been here for a few months. I think we gotta go. You know, like I would have a feeling, and it wouldn't happen so fast that like. The timeline that I told someone to come here.
To suicide pact,
yeah. And I do think like it would really have to be quite hopeless. Like the people I care about and need to protect have to be gone. You know, if that's the case, then it's like, okay, I don't really need to be here anymore. But with my luck, I'd like find a kid or something and be like, dang.
Yeah, then you'd have to live forever.
Dang.
Like, darn.
I gotta take care of this thing, you know? But let's talk about...
Joel from all Last of Us, but
Yeah, right. I'd get Joel'd. So let's talk about All of Us Are Dead. So this is what it's about. A high school becomes ground zero for a zombie virus outbreak. Trapped students must fight their way out or turn into one of the rabid infections. And this is from 2022, so it's been a minute, but a season 2 has been greenlit and it is coming ambiguously.
Yeah. And I mean, thinking about it, like also like post 2020 too, like it was made in as a probably somewhat of a result of like the stress of that too.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we're covering a lot of different zombie films in this series, and I like that they are quite different. there's a different approach that, like, for one, this is a TV series. And it's also interesting because there are, you know, there's also other, like, specifically Korean media that covers zombies. Like, one of our favorites is Train to Busan. It's like top like top movies ever. It's so exciting. It's so heartbreaking. It has the best dad ever. And it's true. It is referenced in this because it is such a cultural hit. But there's also Kingdom, which I was considering doing, just because that one also really covers like the caste system and just like these hierarchies that we have in place and like history. And it was such, like, that one felt really emotional in a different way, because it was like, it was exploring these bigger things, and the zombies almost were like kind of like, they were clearly like a theme or reference to real horrors that they were enduring. And there's just like a history there that I would love to like talk to someone who is like Korean like in South Korean, or just to talk about like their specific history and some of the things that like I don't have a full understanding of. Whereas there is still like cultural things here, and All of Us Are Dead, absolutely. There's like, that's just gonna be innate in the work that happens, because it's just like that's how these people move in the world, right? Is like with these different expectations, with these different pressures on them. We talk about that a lot in our Squid Game series. But this one, I also feel like there is a uniform, like a universal approach when we're talking about young people enduring trauma in this way. So it's like that, I feel like,
is very much teenagers are dealing with this specific horrible situation within the framework of a high school. Like,
right.
And I mean, you do get to see like the corruption of the government and how like they don't care about the population and how they get all these like special treatments, but even like
also universal
militarization. Definitely, for sure. But I do like kind of enjoy that it is from a lens of like these teenagers who like just don't have a concept of the future in the same way that like an adult would, and just how everything is so horrifying for them, and like how some of them are just so mean to each other. And it's like, I feel like sometimes like it's like the anime effect too, where you're like, you see like bullying and you're like, ow.
Yeah.
Like, I remember bullying when I was a kid. I don't know if it was this, but like it is for a lot of people. But it was like really intense, like how cruel they were to each other even before they were zombies, which I guess also is pretty universal. But I did like enjoy how the like it did come back over and over again throughout the series. I thought it was pretty like interesting. It calls out the social issue of that, and then also it's like fun.
And I think it's just like it is a sweet spot of like life having these teens, because you're in that like in between space of like, you're still a child, like, right, you're still being taken care of, cared for. Things are really heavy and dramatic, like, you know, the future feels almost impossible, like impossibly far from where you are, but also right around the corner. And so it's like this
like
weird
with the seniors.
Right. Like there's the one senior who's like constantly like, I need to get into college. And even like after like surviving the apocalypse is like, I should get free college now, or not free. I should just get free admittance. Like, you should just let me in, because of what I've endured, right? Like, and the fact that that is still something that's so important is such a young person lens of like, all the structures are gone, but it's like, but they're still here, you know? Like, I still have to think about that. Like, when this whole thing is over, like, I have to do this thing, right? So like romance, like having these crushes, having these best friends, relying on your parents, like seeing your parents are just human, and so like aren't all powerful beings, is really important. Like a good amount of them have to like face that, and it's really like some of the more heartbreaking things. Whereas it's like, you know, when you have like Jim in 28 Days Later seeing his parents, right? Like that's heartbreaking. It hits different when it's a teenager who's like actively living with these people, has not like separated their life from them, is so reliant on them, has like this, you know, hopefully core love that's easy, and now like, where is it?
And I guess it's like a commentary on the like loss of innocence, like even outside of a zombie apocalypse, with like coming of age, and having to like be ripped from your parents into like adulthood, and like having to be in society and capitalism and how awful that is. But yeah, there's definitely that like loss of it. Like that scene, we can go like, I guess, a little bit more in order, but like, yeah, when you like get the scenes of like people realizing their parents are no longer here and just how hard that is.
Yeah, there's a few of them, honestly. So with All of Us Are Dead, this is a TV series. You can catch it on Netflix. It is, you know, they're like hour episodes. I think it's like 12 of them. And it is exploring like a zombie apocalypse occurs right at their school. It starts at their school. And it's pretty quick, like moving. One, the zombies themselves are really fast. It's one of those modern versions. And the way that like the virus is transferred is very similar. I will say it's similar to 28 Days franchise in that it is kind of like a rage virus. It stems from this desire to like enhance our fight impulses to as a its intention was for protection, right? It was, you know, the father of a boy who was bullied wanted his son to stick up for himself because the structures that were in place were not protecting him. They were not providing support. They were dismissive. They were further harming this boy. And so he was like, I just want you to fight back. I just want you to feel stronger and not feel so like weak and vulnerable. But in like enhancing that, we've had to silence the other parts of us, and we become these like raw, like feelings, instinct driven monsters, which is, they become like
rage motivated.
Right. Yeah. And they even call them zombies. Like they're like the fact that they call out that it's Train to Busan. And I just love they're like zombies are supposed to be in movies, not in school. I was like, right, exactly.
And then like it's like, why are they in PE? Why are they at lunch? Get them out
here. Like they shouldn't be in our cafeteria, please. And I think that's like really fun. And I as the series goes on, we are watching these kids have to survive, have to figure out what the next step is, but we're also stepping outside and seeing all the ways that like these structures, these people, these adults are failing them. Yeah. So whether it's their parents, it's the police, it's the government, like their teachers, you know, like so many, their principal, other students, so many people are failing them.
Yeah, where like the system isn't designed to like actually help them grow, but instead to like basically oppress them and like are failing them actively. Like they don't care about their well-being, they care about how they'll contribute to the larger scope of, I guess, the continuation of society.
Well, I just think too, you know, we're recording this in September, even though it comes out, you know, second week of October, right? And, you know, right now we're in this moment where people are feeling a type of way about the lack of empathy and reaction and protection and just like care for young people and children who have suffered from violence, right? Like we here in America have a horrific like history and ongoing terror of school shootings and just, you know, mass shootings in general. And it's been this epidemic of or pandemic, because it's here, of this violence throughout the country. And it's so often dismissed with like thoughts and prayers. And, you know, and then we see like when in the show, we have this like government official and the characters that like are her her staff are very quick to be like, well, do you know who she is? Like, she needs to get like, you know, and they're like, everything is on fire right now. Like, we do not have like a caste system today.
We can't be pulling rank
right, like,
in the apocalypse.
Come on. Yeah. And they hold on to that throughout the entire season. And they really, it works in their favor in some ways. But there is just this, like, me thinking, like, I'm watching these adults and they're like, well, what about them? And never, I was really surprised that it wasn't one of their impulses, like their first instincts, to go for the kids. Like, you know, there's a high school.
They were so forgotten. Yeah.
Immediately. Like, it never occurs to them until there's, like, literally a parent.
Like, let's help them. Yeah.
And even, like, this lady who's, like, in the government, she's like, I got a daughter. Whatever. You know, like, she never
was, like, one of the main girls. Yeah.
She never once mentions, like, I'm going to go get my daughter. She never does that. Yeah. Instead, she, like, guilt trips this man for wanting to abandon her and save his daughter. Like, and so I think, like,
and her daughter was Namra. And, like, it was like, she just did not, like, she cared, I guess, but, like, she didn't care enough. It was the whole thing.
Yeah. And Namra knew that. And that's why she is the way that she is. But it just felt to me like I was feeling the lack of response to get them. And so when later in the season, when help is there and they are, like, adamantly denied that assistance, like, it's, like, aggressive how it's, like, ripped from them, was, like, so much more heartbreaking, because it was like, it took them this long. And had they, like, you know, a day ago prioritize these young people, we would do that. And I just think, like, this is another instance that we're seeing of, like, we're not prioritizing the next generation. We're not protecting them. Like, we are, like, maybe we're not in the apocalypse, right? But we are in crisis constantly. We are suffering, like, children are suffering all over the world, right? Not just here. And there isn't, like, this, like, first and foremost, the kids are the future, like we were talking about in Clown in the Cornfield, right? It's just like, the kids are the future, but not like that. And it's like, the kids are the future when it's convenient for us, for them to do that. Yeah. That's crazy.
And that, like, the schools will be a battleground for that too. It's like, it definitely crosses, like, it's very relatable, both here and I imagine, like, in Korea. Like, it's, the kids should be the priority, and, like, where the empathy is going and where the, like, hope for the future is going, and it's entirely not. And that's, like, largely the problem with society across the globe currently, and why there are so many very unhappy kids having to, like, inherit an earth that is dying. Right. And, like, it's the apocalypse is already, like, kind of here. Like, you know, like, not literally, but like it's not zombies, but, like, the prospect for the future is not so great. And, like, we're seeing that in the current generations who are coming of age, entering the workforce, and the ones that are, like, in high school and younger, like, having to, like, grasp the reality of how horrific the world is, and feeling let down by the adults around them because they're not fighting to fix it. And some people are, obviously, there's always that, but, like, it's not to the point where we're seeing tangible results that, like, get us where we need to go in order to fix the world, to make it a future that they can be excited about and feel, like, hopeful for, and that, like, not have their loss of innocence stolen in high school as they or just, like, in school in general as they transition into adulthood.
Yeah. And I mean, we were already seeing that with them, like, without the apocalypse happening. Like, there's, like, a crisis of, like, bullying, and it was really intense, like, to the point where a boy tried to end his life, right? And others too, like, it was not the only kid in there. And the fact that, like, you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, and what was making her want to end her life was not the zombies, it was the bullying, right? The result of the bullying. And, like, you could see, I think the writers did a really great job of showing how isolated and like immediate like the brains are of young people, that their worlds are so small and like this means everything. And it was like such a like like it was frustrating, right? Often
as a fully formed prefrontal cortex
human. To see like
it's like
a kid make a decision and you're like, why would you do that? Like it's not that big a deal, but it is to them, right? This idea of like, my mom's gonna see this, right? It's like, honey, your mom's probably dead. I'm so sorry, right? Like, but it is a big deal, right? Like, because I think again, they held to this idea. There was this resiliency in that of like, when this is all done and we come out the other side, like society is going to do what it's going to do, right? And like they don't know it. Like I'm sure they imagine it's spread everywhere. But it is a small, like a relatively small area. It's not all of South Korea that is zombified. It's just like this. It's this, this area, right? And so
city,
outside of that, the world is still going, which is why I really appreciated like the YouTuber. This is a banana, which is like chicken.
I don't remember.
He like went in and was just like, let's see what it's all about. And then he was like, he was so funny. There's some genuinely funny moments, like when he goes into the daycare and he's like, oh everything's fine. And then it's just a bunch of zombie babies and it's just like, that was hilarious.
Yeah, totally underestimating the situation that he was walking into, like kind of just for clout. And then he was like, oh no, this is literally life and death. And then like everyone online's not believing him too. Like, that's not real. That's not what's happening. And you have like the copycat ones, like in the next town over where they pretend to be zombies. And
subway,
that,
and then they're like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, I'm kidding.
I don't feel remorse. And the moral of the story, like the crux of the show is that like we do need to have empathy for each other. And like they have like this, all their strongest moments, like anyone who does act super selfishly and like goes against the group and like acts like genuinely like very problematic and like somewhat unforgivable, ends up getting like consequences for their actions. Sometimes it takes way too long to get to that, but like there is like a set, like you can kind of very clearly see what the show's trying to tell you, and that like the children who care about each other and are empathetic to each other, like for the most part do come out the other side. And then there's like victims of just the circumstances happening because of people who act selfishly, and then like they get their just desserts. So it is like a satisfying watch in that way. But like I think the moral of the story of it is that like all this awful stuff is happening and we're being terrible to each other, and we need to be kinder to each other and care about each other. And that's really hard when everyone's eating each other's faces off,
right?
And that's like
but literally and figuratively, because like there's also people who are just like stabbing each other in the back, you know? Like we're harming each other like as zombies and then as people. And I think that's really interesting too. Like one, you know, I think there's also an honesty to the fact that like in zombie media, they are quick to write that people just immediately abandon societal structures. They're like, immediately, zombies are here.
We've wanted to murder this whole time.
Right. Like everyone has a capacity to do evil. We just forget that society, like, no, it takes longer than that. Like it genuinely would. Like, cause like there'd be so much more denial. Our brains just like are not that flexible. Even these young people, like you cannot be bouncing into a new reality like immediately. It's just like not how that works. And
it's so hard to cope. I
think like that was really interesting. Like we kept that in this, like they hold, like I said, like they're still in that space of like, okay, when this is over, we're going to do this, but they hold on to a lot of their biases, their judgments, the relationships that they had before the apocalypse. Like there's, Nayeon, who is like unfortunately a very sinister character, because like clearly she's being raised to believe certain things about people, and so she like, you know, part of it is like she's older, like she's not like a baby, so she at some point, you know, there's hope that she would, you know, go out on her own and she would be better informed.
Learn
and
differently.
You know, and you see like moments where maybe she would do that. Like you kind of hope that if somebody was on her side, she would do that, you know? But it's just like, you know, no, it's nobody's responsibility to take care of her and to make her be a better person, right? It's just hers. But like she holds on to these like judgments, and like it is really to her detriment because it's how she gets ostracized. It is something that like before this apocalypse did not ostracize her. It in fact like popularized her. She had her group, she had her friends, she had an understanding of superiority in this world. Now in the apocalypse, we're trying to survive and you still acting crazy. We're saying like, no, you're with the outcast right now in this room. You have to be nice. And she's like, I don't understand how like the status quo of this. You know?
Yeah, like it's hard too because it's like all the characters that were like quote unquote evil in their own ways. I think because of the fact that they're kids, like you can see that like it all just stems from a deep-seated insecurity that is no one's business to fix but themselves, obviously. But like the motivation of them is like fear and like I feel something is wrong with me because I am not feeling how everyone else is feeling. And it's like that part is sad and I empathize with that. But the consequences of the actions are the part where I'm like, the teacher, I get what she was doing. I get she had to like help her as her student. It was just like the elephant in the room was like she was dangerous to the group because of what she was doing. She committed
murder. And like zombies are eating people. Murder. They're not making a choice to murder.
Choice to murder.
And this child did that. I will say that like, so there's like human on human violence as well as zombie on human violence, right? And then there's a third thing. I won't share what the third thing is, which because it's exciting. It's a different thing.
Yeah, that's what makes the show like really unique compared to other zombie media in that like it's not 28 days later or 28 years later alpha. It's just like a whole different thing. Yeah, it's very fun,
which is great. And then it's like it's also unfortunate because it's just like why them? I think like the human on human violence and interactions is really important in this because it really hurts to watch because you're just like, come on, like, you know, you
want better from the world.
Right. Yeah. You want better. You want them to do better. You want them to take care of each other and you hope and pray that that's the case. But like in reality, some people are just like that. And I think like from the teacher's point of view, so that there's a teacher in here who is kind, and she clearly cares about her students. And she's like absolutely shook when she finds the first kid and is like, the teacher did what to you? Like, and she's trying to like do something about it. And of course the school is like our reputation, keep it on the down low. And she's like, absolutely not.
You called the cops? Absolutely
she's not. Like, please call the authorities, get this man locked up. Like, look at her, you know? And so I think she from the get was just like always like, she was also aware of everyone's life and situations. And so when she's presented with this situation where, one, she's just learning about this bias of this student. She just learned that person would even call another student something like that. She just learned what that means, right? So, like, she's learning about slurs. She's learning about that there's already, like, this, like, tension in her classroom that she was going to miss because she's an adult. And then immediately you're presenting this situation where one of your students has caused the death of another one. Intentionally, and whether it was like
with motive,
right, with motive, and whether it's like it feels like it is certainly, I think a part of it is stemming from hate, right? But I also think a part of it was like you were saying, Kat, like this vulnerability, this fear, this insecurity, because
like everyone still likes you more, even though you're this.
I've been told you
I'm
mean
supposed
less.
To be, I've
been told you mean less, and everyone likes you more. And now I'm all of a sudden out, and I have no friends all of a sudden, and the world is ending, right? Yeah. And it feels so huge. And so I think that's where it came from. It was like, no, I need to be validated. I need to I need to get back into this social hierarchy that I've fallen from, and that's abrupt to me versus the zombies eating people, right? Like that feels crazy.
Yeah.
And so like I see like I was like, still, I don't think I personally am capable of such a thing. But thinking of this teacher, right? Like, there's no way that this teacher thought that, first of all, they were capable of such a thing. But then she's also seeing it from the adult perspective of like, we can't let this spiral out. Because one, like this, we've already just seen a student murder another student, right? Now they're like the group of them, they were getting group mentality. You know, we're getting a little mobbish, and we're now going to contribute to the murder of another student. Like, I have to stop this up. I have to stop it now before it gets worse. And so like, I don't think there's any world in which I am in charge of or responsible for the lives of these children. And even if one of them did cause the death of another, that I could so easily like let them walk out the door. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. No, it was like I appreciated the show because a lot of the social situations like felt so hard. Like you're witnessing them and you're like, what would I do in that situation? And like there's all like like it's very raw and like empathy driving and like I'm with you. Like I feel like I would feel like I have to go with her as well, if not pull her back.
Right.
Like, as you said, like there's not a going back point from that. Like it's so hard to navigate. And like as a former person who used to teach, like you really are responsible for the children under your care. And it is like, that's a lot of pressure. And then also like if things go wrong, you are entirely responsible for like mediating that and like helping navigate these social situations that these kids just like can't fathom. Like, and like sometimes like just through the lack of prefrontal cortex being established, like we'll make impulsive decisions that like are harmful to each other. This, I don't like, it's so hard because it's like, I'm like, you are a child, but also you've done something so unforgivable. Right. Like I can understand how we got sinister. There and still not accept that like that is ever okay. Like there's...
To me, it's just like you put her in that room. It's so hard. You know, you put her in that room.
Yeah.
She's away from them. Like, but we're going to figure it out. You know, like, we don't trust her. She gets tied up or something. But I don't think we're killing her. Like, I think it's just like, because then we really are getting into this, like, you know, the rules are gone. Like, if we're taking justice into our own hands, like, it's just a cycle of violence, right? And
oh, absolutely.
As much as I hate, you know, Batman's like, if you murder a murderer, the number of murderers doesn't go down. I do still argue that if you kill 2 murderers, then it's going down. But I think in this situation, like it was a really big deal for her. But I also weigh like her going out there meant she was abandoning all the other kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it really, it's like, you kind of have to weigh those things. It's just like, first of all, maybe we just don't let her out. Second of all, like, it's, again, and that's a hard game time decision, which I think is like another reason why I really
it's
like.
It's a QTE.
It is, it's a QTE. It's one of the dialogue options. If you don't say the right thing.
Like 5-second countdown. And then you had to go.
Now the kid is outside.
With the consequences.
You know, and you're running for it.
Just deal with that.
And you're like, please be nice. And she's like, I haven't learned anything in 5 minutes.
This poor kid's hallucinating. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Honestly, it was
for her own fault.
Right. Like, I did find it so funny because there's like this instance later. So this girl does get separated from them, and then she's in a situation where she could help everyone. She doesn't. But every time she like we cut to her and we see like she's like, you know what, maybe they're just kids. They're my classmates. They're my friends. I can help them. Not as scary it's gonna be okay. And she goes to like she's gonna open the door. She's gonna go to them, and then one of them is just like, I really miss that friend she murdered. And it's just funny because then it cuts back to her, and she's like, oh, they're still hung up on that. Like, there's God, get over it. It was like 10 minutes ago. I mean, come on.
Stop. Oh
like every time she was just like, they're gonna hold that against me.
Yeah,
God,
and like
God
shame
forbid.
spirals. It's like a whole time. Yeah. I feel like I will say as a warning for watching the show, there is a lot of like really heavy stuff like from the rip. It is I have watched it 3 times. Obviously, like I thought it was worth the watch. I really enjoyed it. I just like zombie media in general and like heavy emotional drama, teen dramas. I watched Degrassi. Like it was, you know, I enjoy like the Heartbreak High, like teen drama, like because it's just like so emotional. But no, going into it that it is so emotional. Like you are going to have to deal with things that are like really heavy, kind of like nonstop. Like it is. There's never really a lull for more than 10 minutes of stress within the show. Like you have some like sentimental moments, you have some like little wins and like happy times, but like it is always very short lived. And the tension is kind of consistent. And if that's not your scene or like content warnings of like self-harm and lots of blood and lots of other things that are like stressful, child death, like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of stuff happening within the show that are reasonable things that like some people might not want to be watching. And I definitely validate that. But it is like if you're able to push past that and like want to experience a really emotional, dramatic teen apocalypse scenario, it's really good in that way. Like I felt very empathetic like towards everything that was happening in it. I've believed every single one of these kids the entire time. Like the actors did a really amazing job. And I felt like what they were saying like had purpose and mattered. Like as much like it was a critique of society, it was a critique of the structures in place, it was critiques of how we treat each other. That like some cases wasn't necessarily new, but I think still like mattered and like
still relevant.
Yeah, it was relevant and like needed to be said.
Stemming off what you were saying, Kat, of like the emotions of these kids, there's, you know, a particular moment where they're recording messages, some to their parents, some to just like whoever's out there. You know, it's kind of a little Blair Witch in a way. But that moment was really well done. I think like they were so youthful in that moment. Like the things that they were concerned about, the way that they approach things, like Daesu, my boy, being very
we love Daesu.
Just being very polite. When like it is like yes, hi, like when she like pans over to them and he's just like
yeah, no, I love Daesu.
He's sweetie. He's just so strong, my strong boy.
And no one wanted to hold his hand and we all cried.
It's like I want to hold your hand. Yeah, I think that was a really beautiful moment, and I just feel like a lot of them were kids. There's like one particular character I don't know if I'll ever understand him. And what drove him to be as cruel as he was. And I feel like that was something we were lacking, is he was really kind of just like evil for evil's sake. Like there's like one villain that's really perpetuated through it. Like he's always there. He's always there. I was tired of him. I was like, please just stop. Yeah. In so many ways of like, these kids probably would have been closer to all right if not for him.
Right.
But and also Neon. But Green, I was just like, I don't understand like his motivation and his cruelty. And at some point it became like, it still was very like youthfully motivated, where he was like embarrassed. He was also worried about ramifications of actions, but then it became very focused of just like revenge. But he was like that before this. Like, so to me, I'm like, what happened before? Like, why is he like this when there's not zombies, right? Like, what is his existence? Where are his parents?
I think so. We only really get like little flashbacks to Onjo and Chungsan and Isak and Gyeongsu, and then we don't really see anyone else's life for the most part outside of the school.
Yeah, not even Namra.
And I think it would have been kind of cool in the second season if we get like some flashbacks to like who these people were to kind of explain I don't know if like it's a very different vibe than the first season, so I could see people like not loving that. But it would have been nice to get a little more backstory. I get like you have maybe not enough time because of like 12 episodes. But like, yeah, I think it would have been similar. It was like I could see his fear and insecurity, but like the why was definitely missing, and like that it made it hard to like really understand him. And like there were moments where the actor, at least, like you could see in his facial expressions and like kind of the pain. He had like a tear at the end of like feel like where he clearly felt like inadequate, and that was what was pushing some of his stuff. But like it would have been good to have some backstory for all these like characters that we've come to like care so much about, and then also the ones we've come to like fear.
Yeah.
And like why are you like this in a little bit more detail than like kind of like they were all kind of like pillars of an idea of a person throughout, like some of like the side characters, like where we got more well-rounded growth for like our main two, and then like you were kind of like wanting a little extra for the people on the side that like really shined and like you cared about a lot. And like I would have actually would have wanted to see more screen time for them and like history, and like it would have hit harder too when like you see the one character's parents, like you like it would have just like done a little bit more, and we would have had more context. So I don't know how we would get that information, or if they would decide to show us like flashbacks of like kind of like memorializing the characters that we lost along the way by getting some like flashbacks to their past. But I think that like that would be helpful, just like get more context. I would want to know why Guinan was like that.
I really would.
I would watch,
and like
that episode.
It could absolutely be like the like cliche reasonings, right? It could just be like he's got a bad home life and his own father is mean or whatever. Like I think that's super valid. We just didn't even get it. We just got ambiguously motivated villain. Like in this, besides that one teacher, there was not really a lot of adults that these kids were like able to rely on. Like the principal was POS and he was hiding, and then he like honestly like Guinan shouldn't be killing people that aren't zombies, first of all. But two, I don't entirely blame him for that reaction, for the fact that principal was so easily going to discard him as a person. Like he was using him as a tool and dismissing him. Like he didn't care. So like I don't think like we owe him anything. If somebody tells you like, if someone shows you a lack of empathy, you don't have to give them empathy. All right. Yeah. But I think like, there's like I think, was it a gym teacher or someone who was like in the nurse's office? He was like hiding with the one girl, the phone girl. But there's like very few adults who like are decent in it.
Who are acting with actual care versus.
We also have a good, another great father figure, just like in Train to Busan, we have Best Dad, who worked so hard to save, and he was so strong. And then in this, we have a father, Anjo's father, who fought really hard, and he educated and empowered his daughter to not only be like really resourceful and smart, but she's also very compassionate. Like she is continually like in the face of like sadness and horror and anger and like defeat, and she still is like, you know what, no, we're gonna be best friends. And I think like that was really beautiful to see. And so I think he did a great job like before the zombie apocalypse, and then he did a decent job like trying to get to her. I still really am fuzzy about what happened to him. I just think cinematically we could have did something a bit more obvious for me, my brain. And then the last...
Well, because it's so fast-paced. Like, yeah. Just like the whole show is. And it's like, for all the other ones, they were very obvious about what happened. And then there was a lot of ambiguous.
Yeah, I was like
that ambiguous one is like, why?
Why didn't you get a close-up?
That one mattered so much.
Get a close-up.
As viewers. We were so attached to this man. Like, you need to like give us a good reason.
And I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it was so silly. Yeah. And then lastly, I think like the detective, he worked really hard. I think it was like his priority was trying to get the information to hopefully save people.
Help the cure.
But it proved that it was more than that. Like, he was like a protector at heart, and that poor man just kept finding children. And I was like, see, this would be me. I would be like, okay, I try to get to my friends, and then they all, are you kidding me? There's a new baby here, and it's like, oh, there's a child, and then now I got this guy.
I guess I gotta live forever.
Yeah, like damn, what the hell am I gonna do?
I'm just out here helping people.
Now I'm the single father of two. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah. I feel like, honestly, that's probably what would happen. Except, I will say, the cat distribution system has not rewarded me in the same way that I would expect, where I'm like, where are these cats out in the world? I want to rescue them.
No, you never know.
Like, I know, but still.
That's why.
I'm like, I feel like that's what would happen, and then the kids, they wouldn't be there, and I'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
Now I have no reason to keep going.
Right. And that's okay.
Kid distribution system.
Yeah. Right.
If they're in zombie apocalypse, help me have motivation to live and then hopefully not traumatize more.
Right. Oh my God forbid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think like, you mentioned, Kat, at the beginning of this, what our hopes for season 2 is. And I'm going to be fully honest. I wish there wasn't one.
Fair
I
enough.
think this was like perfectly fine as a solo endeavor. I think this was a solid season. I got a beginning, middle, and end. Because
that's fair.
I feel like the next season is going to get a little weird, and I don't know.
Yeah,
it's got to be a different kind. It's got to be a different kind of like show.
Yeah,
because like it's just different. Unless it's happening in the town over. Or something
like
else.
It keeps spreading, like they were hinting. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about this. Maybe it's in an apartment building. It was the same time. Like what's happening to them. But I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we would probably get like flashes to our main characters, but that they maybe couldn't be the central focus unless it's just like a commentate. Like, what do we do now in a society that still half exists and has half crumbled? And, like, how do we operate within that? I guess that could be pretty interesting because that's kind of like what we're dealing with in, like, real life is, like, capitalism. We're in post-capitalism. And a lot of people are still attached to the past. And then we're, like, still dealing with that, like, transition period. And, like, that's kind of what they would be dealing with in the zombie time where it's, like, zombies are here. Society has partially fallen. How do we deal with both zombies and society crashing? What do we do? So I guess like it'd be interesting, but I feel like it also might be like too real in a way that's like kind of stressful. So I don't know. We'll have to see what they decide.
I mean, I will most likely watch it because I will be curious. Yeah. I just like don't. I really don't know what they're gonna do, and so that's where I'm like, I don't know if we really need another one. I think I think it's okay to just let stuff end. Have one. Yeah. And if it did so well, do something different. Do another one. Like clearly your team is good at stuff. Trust yourself that you could do something else.
I super hear that. And like I agree. Like having watched it twice and then stopping at that one episode, I feel like after watching the end, I did feel like sad but satisfied with it in a way that I wasn't expecting. And I didn't feel like I needed more. Like, I feel like I experienced it and I was like, but I know that they did greenlight a second season. So I'm like, I probably will watch it as well. But it's like, I think I agree where I'm just like, it was a lot. And I don't know if we need a lot more. Like, I think they tied up a lot of the loose ends that they would have had. And like there's some creativity in like the ambiguousness of some of the characters' endings where you're like, I guess that works. For what we can interpret what their future will be without knowing. But I hope they do bring some characters back. I don't care if they have to retcon it and it's messy. There's some characters that like I would just love if they didn't actually die. That would be cool.
Yeah. I think it's okay that they die. Cuz that's what happens, you know? And I think it's important that especially in a zombie thing, that people aren't precious. You know, like nobody is no like immune people don't have like protagonist armor all the time. Especially in zombies. Like I think zombies,
so it's actually like more realistic that they would go. I hear you.
Yeah, but I also hear you of like I was hoping the whole time because I was expecting protagonist armor. I was expecting like these moments of like, oh, they're fine somehow, you know, they're just a little different, you know, like absolutely, you know, I secretly, you know, dreamed of that being the situation, but I'm also okay, you know, with it being this way because I think like
I hear you.
I was like like in horror, some of it can be really vicious. Like I think slashers can be really heartbreaking because they're so like because the more bodies, the better slasher it is. Like you need to be killing people. Like you cannot have a slasher with people hanging out at the end. Like it's just so hard to do effectively and still be a slasher. And with zombies, it's very similar. I think it's like it is so hard for all of us to be okay at the end. And I think that's important. You know, like that's part of what I love about Dawn of the Dead, right? We get so close to them, we feel so comfortable, and then we lose them. Even 28 days later, like we have two endings, right? We have one where they're okay, and one where we're like, Jim's a zombie. You know, like it's, and I think those are important to have and like to exist in these subgenres of horror. And so I will,
you know, I stay sensitive.
Yeah. But I mean that's the goal, right? That's the important thing is like in real life we would want those people to live, right? We want to believe that we're strong and we're important in the grand scheme of the world. So of course God would save us, like, right, or whatever it is. The, you know, the story gods. But like I will say, you know, we have, you know, a few more episodes in the series, and you know, we've covered zombies before. We did an episode, and I think it was really good, where we talk about like what zombies mean, because they often represent like bigger things, and a lot of the times different like hysteria around illness, capitalism, loss of individuality, those kinds of things. And this is like very much a conglomeration of societal fears in young people. But I will say watching all of these zombie things is really like I don't know, we're gonna have to have a good time in the coming year because it just really makes me so sad. Like I just find myself so broken because it is so hopeless a lot of the time, because so much of it's such a big like wipeout, right? Like in some horror we get like with slashers, right? It's a confined horror, right? It's like just leave Haddonfield, okay? Stop going there. Leave on Halloween. Stop. Why do we keep doing this? Is. Like, you know, stop going to the camp, you know, leave Elm Street, you know, like those things are like it's so isolated. It's like, don't do that, right? But zombies are it's so huge, it's so much bigger than that. It's ripping everything apart, and it really makes it hard to be hopeful. It makes it hard to like think about yourself in that place, and so like it really has put a dampening on my mood,
no,
which is like, you know,
that was like me with the other thing we were watching. I can't remember what it was, but it was recent. It's fine. Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard to watch like these really heavy things when sometimes it can be cathartic in horror to like watch the really heavy thing when heavy is happening outside, but like it has definitely been a little extra hard to watch heavy. It was Squid Games. That's what did it to me.
Right.
And that was a rough series for me. Like emotionally, I was just like, I need hope, and there's no hope.
Because that one also felt really big, right? It was so tied to the structures of society that it's like hard to, because like even that, it's like don't go back, but it's like, you see that baby going back though, you know, like it's just a little different. Like they have more reason to be going back than anybody has to be living in Haddonfield. I'm just saying, like, what are we just don't know what you're doing. Like, just leave, move. You're in the suburbs. Okay, you could be in a different suburbs. You got a house money.
Free. Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna do fine. I think like we have some really interesting conversations. I think zombies as a genre, like, is a really great like place to play with fear, and because it's like it's such a good set dressing of like you throw that in and like all hell breaks loose, and now it's like, but what are we saying, you know? And I think it does a really great job of saying things always, even when it's stupid, you know? And I think it's such a great tool. It's a great like monster to play with, and so I am excited to continue. But it's just like, as a listener, if you're like listening or watching alongside us, just, you know, give yourself some care, watch something fun, you know, do something that feels good in between.
We might do a silly series after this.
Yeah, after we palate cleanse. In the new year, we'll have something fun, I promise.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't get married.
Yeah, delete your kids.
Delete your kids?
I don't know. They're eating each other.
No.
You might try to eat your kid.
Don't do that.
Yeah, tie yourself to the door.
To the door.
Don't eat your kid. Yeah. And maybe a very handsome detective will show up and become a stepdad. Take care. And it's like, you know, it's hard being a single parent. So if you need an extra pair of hands, or, you know, and I'm around.
You're gonna go find
my husband abandoned me.
A cab but him.
I told him to leave.
Stop. Gabe. You're not even over there.
It's harder to get over there than it is to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Come on. Look at that man. He has no business being that handsome.
Hilarious.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.